Hello, all my copy and UX nerds. Today we are looking at thediary.com. So, Stephen Bartlett, if you don't know him, is an entrepreneur and podcast host of The Diary of a CEO, which is an awesome podcast. I've been a follower for some time and I'm pretty stoked for this launch, and I'm actually looking forward to tearing this down because I'm basically the target audience. So this uh, makes sense. Let's look at it. As usual, we'll start with our model. So you'll find the link to the article where I go in depth into each step of my alchemical transformation process model that I use for these teardowns and for my work. So let's start with the first stage. So empathize and guide. This is all about empathizing with visitors when they get to the website, and then guiding them, helping them orient themselves through the first stages. So here we see they do pretty well. The website and product range is pretty straightforward. They basically offer one product, only the colors change, but basically it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty easy to understand. So as far as empathizing, I had a note here. We got a 9 out of 10 because they could dig deeper into the pains of other solutions. So when we get on the website, the first thing that we see is the diary by Stephen Bartlett. So they obviously use the social proof. They know that a lot of people are coming from the podcast, basically, or from referral sources. So the awareness here is pretty high. Most people that will land here, they will know who these people are, and they know what they are about, the values. So they're pretty aligned. So that's why it makes sense to use the name here. Um, I like this line here, the world's first diary that coaches you back. I also wrote a short article where I go a bit deeper into how I look at the positioning for this business here. So I will link that in the description as well. But I like this positioning, value proposition here. It basically points out the fact that yeah, this is kind of the first of its kind. What other solution do is basically they either have a physical notebook or uh, a, an app, a journal app. So it's kind of two standalone kind of products. This basically brings them together and allows you to get feedback on a physical journal, but also integrates the digital, right? So I like how they basically created this new product. They combined the physical and the digital using a system, which is the coaching system, the app system that they use, which is a really interesting business model. What I would do though to make it a bit better here, it's to dig deeper into the pain of other solution, right? So here they talk a lot about the benefits, uh, pretty high level how this works. So they don't go super in detail, maybe because this website just launched. So they are still keeping high level as far as the benefits go. They don't go into the specifics, but also since the theme is pretty prevalent throughout the website, the first diary that coaches you back, the first diary to ever coach you back, I would still try to point out some of the disadvantages, the pains of using other solutions, right? So what happens when you're just using a physical notebook? You you write stuff down, but then you're never gonna use it again. Or what happens when you use a digital app? Doesn't feel that much of a sensory experience. Maybe you don't remember stuff that you write down, you don't integrate into your life effectively. So some of those pains, I would have a section here that digs deeper into those pains. They have a video here which is kind of like a full style presentation, which is nice. But yeah, that's probably what I would do as far as the empathize and guide stage to yeah, have people keep reading and learn more. We move to clarify and sway stage. So this is all about persuading, clarifying, explaining, and pushing people, motivating them to reach the final stages of our conversion flow. So we got a 6 out of 10 here. And again, I suspect that the website is going to be built on. Right now, it's probably a first version, which is fine. The product launched this week, I think. So for a first launch and with the credibility and authority that they have, I'm sure that they are not going to have a problem selling these. They're probably going to be sold out. But the thing that I would do if this was another business, or if it wasn't that known, that well known, these are some things that I would adjust based on what I see works. We have provide a better visual idea, right? So we have the diary here. We have a couple of images. On mobile, we see that they have kind of like a few more illustrations here that show the app, kind of give you an idea of what it does. But at the same time, it's not entirely clear, not super clear what it does and how it's divided, what the app is composed of. So I would probably provide a couple of bullet points here, and maybe make this section clickable on desktop as well, so people can actually see more. What does the introspection part of the app and diary look like? Give me a better visual idea. Same with self-development and self-awareness. Just provide a bit more context, and specifically in these areas, right? So clarify how it works. So there's a lot of mention on the product page of the 12-week ongoing program. What does it mean exactly? Is it ongoing in the sense that after the 12 week I can keep going? Is it just 12 week? What happens after the 12 weeks? Some of the questions that I've been asked, that I've been asking myself. And how are those weeks structured exactly? How is that going to work in general? The key pillars, we have the key pillars here on the product page and also on the home page. So health, finance, relationship, work. Would be nice to provide a couple of examples of how this happened in practice. So, okay, health. How are you going to improve my health? What kind of tips am I going to get? What kind of results will I get through this? Same with finance, relationships. They basically just stick to kind of listing the categories here. So for this first launch, it's fine, but I would go deeper and explain what these are. Next, we have the app, right? So we already mentioned. When I get here on the product page, especially, and I mean, starting from the shop category page, I see the diaries. Right now, what I'm thinking is, okay, I'm getting the diary here, but where do I get the app? Maybe adding a link where people could at least see, maybe a link to the App Store or the Google Play Store where people can see the app, and clearly telling them that when they get this, they also get the app, and that the app is free for them. Because right now, it seems to me, if I was a new visitor coming here, it would be a bit confusing. Seems like I'm only getting the diary and then maybe the app. It's like a separate cost, and that's why they actually go into it when they mention price here. One payment, physical coaching and analytics included. So yeah, it's still pretty vague. So I would definitely clarify that they're getting this. This is probably the only sign, but it still doesn't tell me much. Maybe add some copy here explaining. But yeah, make it clear that I'm getting the app as well together with this as a one-time price. And then also the coaches. Yeah, so we have the coaches here, the coaches section, all good. The pictures look great. If I click here, I can get more details, but at the same time, it only tells me It only gives me kind of like a CV of each coach. It doesn't actually tell me how they're gonna help me, what kind of level, like a personal touch, this will have in my experience with the diary. So yeah, provide a couple of examples. Let me know how this all gonna play out as I'm using the diary on a day-to-day level. Be a bit more specific in general. We see that they kind of repurpose sections quite a lot, which might just be a sign that the site is new. But yeah, these are some aspects that I would clarify for people to kind of yeah, make them believe in the product and in themselves as well. When it comes to the shield and lead, so the final stages, again, the website is pretty simple, so nothing much to do here. The only thing, the whole checkout process is really straightforward, pretty simple. Maybe instead of having separate product pages, allow me to select the color here so that I don't have to go back on the shop category page. I can just stay here and select the different products. Checkout is fine, pretty straightforward, so all good here. The only thing that I would probably add would be an FAQ here, because especially at this stage where there's not a lot of detail on the website, I would find really helpful to have this FAQ section easily accessible here, especially on mobile. If I had a link to the FAQ here and the navigation menu, it would be definitely helpful and would encourage me to make the move. All right, so this is pretty much it. I would still say great job. The idea is really interesting and I might actually try it. So I'll keep you posted. In the meantime, hope that this has been helpful and this is a good example. Cheers, guys.